I'm Emma Michelle with Campus Reform. This week, Gillette released an ad taking on the subject of toxic masculinity. What exactly does that mean? Well, we are here at Georgetown University today asking students what they think about the issue. Do you think that toxic masculinity is a problem that we need to address in society?
In society, I'd say it definitely is something we should address.
It's definitely an issue that most of us face in some way or another.
I'm actually a women and gender studies minor, so we talk a lot about toxic masculinity in some of my classes.
I definitely think it is an issue at large.
I've absolutely heard of toxic masculinity, and I do think it's an issue.
And I think it's a huge issue that should be addressed.
It's a real problem, especially for high school girls, as they start to try and break into the workforce, and there's people just kind of breaking them down, saying that it's not good enough because it's usually males.
Focusing on it would be worthwhile here for sure.
I think we need more ads like this because it brings attention to this very serious topic.
People have become more sensitive to it nowadays.
How would you define toxic masculinity as a term in your own words?
Toxic masculinity, I would define as
There isn't a sort of logic to it. I feel like it's more just strutting your stuff and being manly beyond there being a point to be.
I don't really know.
The idea that men have to be a certain way, dominant, physically imposing and all, and to the extent where
and these constructs are not necessarily conducive to building strong relationships between different members and communities.
Toxic masculinity could be really anything, anything that puts men over females.
I guess maybe I would say just guys being expected to behave a certain way. And
Ooh, that's a tough question. I would say maybe the persistent reinforcement that being a man means a certain thing.
I guess just kind of the societal ideas of what it means to be masculine has it's kind of become something so large that it's become very toxic.
The idea that you have to conform to traditional notions of what it means to be a man.
If you had to draw the line somewhere between what's toxic masculinity and what's just normal masculinity, how would you do that?
I don't know, I think it's a very gray line, not one you would be able to easily distinguish.
Wow, that's a hard question.
If someone is, feels like they can't cry or feels like they can't be open and emotional.
Where do you think the line is drawn between toxic masculinity and just regular male behavior?
That's a tough one.
I'd say when it goes against probably when what people might say about you is the main drive and you acting that sort of way, I feel like that is probably when toxic masculinity comes into play.
maybe you draw the line at a place where somebody feels that just because of masculine norms they have to act a certain way and they're uncomfortable with that.
once it becomes psychologically or mentally damaging to the individual, once they feel so under pressure that, their mental health gets disturbed or something like that, then I think that's where the line might be drawn.
I'm Emma Michelle with Campus Reform, and if you like what you just saw, click here for more content and here to subscribe to be the first to see when we release new videos.